Hi everyone. This video is for Carol, who emailed me a couple weeks back. So I'm sorry, Carol, this is a little late. September 3rd. Okay, so it's like a month late. And Carol asked, how do we use the Intri-cut with Embosslids and Sizzlets? And unfortunately, I don't really have any Embosslids or Sizzlets, but I have other things that might be similar. So this is going to be a live on using different kind of embossing folders, and some of them have the dies, to cut out inside there. So I'm going to show you guys just the basics here. If you're not familiar with the Intri-cut, I do have a video on I just realized my spelling was all messed up on there. On the Intri-cut when it first came out. And so I'm just going to show you a couple of different hacks here. Make sure you have chat on live chat. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Or all chat, I should say. Why can I not get it to come up? Oh, here we go. All chat. All messages. Okay. Can someone say hello so I know you guys can hear me okay? Who said hello? Hi, Gloria. Okay. Why am I not seeing? Okay, there all the chats popped out. I had to go in and out. Hi, Susie. Hi, Suze. Gloria, Frida. Okay. All right. Hopefully you guys have been catching up. I've been trying to do videos very late at night and on weekends. So I'm trying to catch up on everything, and I am pretty much caught up on everything. So I'm pretty happy about that. Hi, Lillian. Hi, Anne. So if you're not familiar with the Intri-cut, I'll give you a basic rundown. I called it the Leatherman of crafting. I travel a lot for work, and I like taking this with me. Even though it is kind of heavy, I don't have to carry a bunch of plates with me, which is nice. I can take this. It will work for my glimmer machine. It will work for my better press machine. It will work for die cutting. It will work for embossing. So this is a really versatile tool, okay? The other couple things that I like about it is that it has little suction feet at the bottom. So when you open up the sides and you push them this way, it locks it in place. It's stuck. It's not moving anywhere. It's really stuck to my glass mat. See that? I can pick up my glass mat. Okay, so I like that. The other thing I like is inside these little flaps is little extra storage. Okay, so you see I had some things in that one. I don't think I have anything in this one. No, so there's little storage pockets there. And so it's very nice. It's easy to put away. It's easy to carry. Once you pull those flaps up, it unsticks from the glass mat, which is nice, okay? On the side are two different dials. So the first dial is, what do you want to do today? Do you want to die cut? Do you want to letter press or 2D emboss, or do you want to 3D emboss? And then the bottom is opening and closing the rollers. So if you want to make the rollers tighter, you go this way. That means there's less space between the rollers. And if you want the rollers to be bigger, you go this way. Okay, so I look at this. This is plus, we're opening up. And this is minus, we're closing the roller. So if you need something to be tighter, you're using thin paper, it's just not fitting correctly, you can tighten it this way. If you need it to be wider, you open it this way. It's the same thing with these dials here. These are the closest rollers, medium, and largest rollers. So this is also opening and closing the rollers. So I want to show you some simple die cutting first. So I'm going to have it on die cut, and then I'm going to have this up in the middle. And you really need to do some experimentation with this. I'm going to actually turn it this way because I think it'll be easier for everybody to see. Okay, and then I did have some things stuck in here. So I have my Gina K tweezers, my Gina K pokey tool, which has a pokey on one side and a little stick it on the other side. And then I have my secret notes here, which I'm going to share with you guys. I will definitely give them to you. But you really need to experiment. You cannot leave it for me or anybody else to tell you how to use your machine. you have to practice playing with it and taking your own notes, because the type of paper you use is going to be different, and the type of embossing folders you use is going to be different. So I just want to make sure that you understand that the notes that I give you, you might have to, alter the recipe a little bit based on what works for you. Okay. So first things first, I am using, there's two kinds of platforms for this machine. This is the one that came with it. Okay, it's a regular platform, and then there's a self-healing cutting mat, okay, which is great, and then there is a clear one. All right, I'm not going to be using this. I have upgraded to the magnetic platform. So everything I do is going to be using this magnetic platform. I love this magnetic platform. So this is a big magnet, or a big metal piece, I should say. It's not the magnet. And then the self-healing mat is magnetic on one side. So this is the magnet, and it's going to stick to the metal. See? So it sticks. See, I'm not holding it. It's sticking on there. So this is everything I show you is going to be using the magnetic platform. If you don't have this magnetic platform, I love it, because again, no sliding around of plates or anything. So everything I do will be using the magnetic platform and the base. Now, what's going to change is whether I use the top plate or not. I may not use the top plate on some of these. And don't worry, I'm going to share all the notes with you guys. I'm going to give you guys a couple of links here in case you want to go shopping. I know Gina K has some more of these on order. I do believe they're sold out, but if you already have the machine, you're probably here to learn how to use it anyway. Okay, so first things first, let's just do regular die cutting. Okay, so to do regular die cutting, we have the base, we have the magnetic platform there, and then this is hopefully to answer some of Carol's question. This is an old Sizzix, I don't know what it's called, quick cuts, whatever it was, but it's a flat die. Okay, this is how they used to be made. Okay, so we're going to put our paper down, and we're always going to be cutting into that mat. So paper down, Sizzlet down, Impresslit, whatever it is, you're going to put that face down. Okay, now I have my machine on regular die cut, and I have it on the center column down at the bottom. So we're going to put the top plate on and run this through. Let's see how this goes through. Okay, now let's take a peeky. And I think that worked. Now I have a note on myself saying sometimes you need to go to +1. So depending on how thin these are, this particular one has a piece of, we used these tape as shims back in the day. So this one's shimmed already with a piece of tape. I don't know if you can see that. See, there's no tape up here. And then as you go down, there's a line, there's a piece of tape. So this already has been shimmed with a piece of tape. So it worked fine. Now, if yours doesn't cut all the way through, then you're going to tighten your rollers. So to tighten your rollers, after I get it to let go, let go, let go. Okay. To tighten your rollers, you would go to -1. If it's not going through because it's too tight, then you're going to go to +1. Okay. So if you need it to be bigger, you go this way. If you need it to be tighter, like that didn't cut all the way through, then I need to go this one. Maybe it cut all the way through and it left a crinkle in my paper, or it scratched my paper, whatever. Then I would make this a little bigger. So this is how you adjust your measurements, right? If it's not tight enough, you go this way. If it's too tight, you go that way. So that's a simple die cut one. Let me show you another one. I'm going to make sure my dial's back on the 0. Okay, so I'm going to show you another one, and this one we're actually going to use with an embossing folder. Thinlet. Thank you, Lillian. Lillian says that is a thinlet. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do is, if you guys got this in last month's box, this is the Gina K Intri-cut 3D embossing folder. And I believe these are created by the same company that does the Simon Says stamp ones. So if you have the Simon Says stamp ones, it's probably the same formula. But this is a 3D embossing folder and die cutter from Gina K Designs. Okay, these come in a lot of her card kits right now. Okay, so in this case, because I have a solid die, in other words, I can't see through the die, right? This is a solid die. I can't see through it. And it has a matching embossing folder. I'm not going to do these at the same time because I need it to emboss on both sides. But what I'm going to do is die cut first. And I'm just using regular, I think this is 80-pound cardstock. It's just cheapy cardstock, okay? So same thing for die cutting it. Magnetic platform, okay, both pieces. Paper down, die down. You always want the raised surface. So these are the cutting edges. Those always need to be face down on your paper. Okay, and then we're going to put our top plate on. And we're going to run that through. It's normal to hear a little bit of cracking. You're not breaking anything. Okay, so as we open this or lift it, and again, it's stuck on there because it's magnetic. Look at that die cut beautifully. And we're going to save this piece now to do our 3D embossing. Where is my stick? And I'm just going to pokey that through. Okay. And that is die cut beautifully. All right. So now I'm going to go through the different embossing folders. I'm going to start with that same one, which is the Gina K 3D embossing folder. So to use this one, Gina's instructions are to use the 2D and go to 3. That did not work for me, and I think it's because I'm using the magnetic platform. So this is her instructions. Set the machine to 2D and go to 3. That, I believe, is if you are using the regular mats. I found a different way that works for me. For me, I am going to go to 3D embossing folder, which is here. Okay, and I'm going to turn my tension to -1. So it's going to be a little bit tighter than a regular 3D folder. 3D and -1, okay? And when I do this one, I don't use a top plate. So I'm going to do, and again, this will change based on the type of paper you're using. I'm using pretty standard paper, but if you use thicker paper, you're going to need to open that a little more. If you're using thinner paper, you're going to close it. So this is just regular. I'm going to do the folder by itself. Folded side in, no top plate. And sometimes you do got to give it a little extra push to get it started. But once it gets fed, hello, Lori. You can see, there it is. Now, some of my impressions are very deep and some of them are not. So I could maybe tighten this up a little bit, which I might do. But what I wanted to show you is, let me go a little bit tighter here. So I'm going to go maybe 1.5 or 2. Let me see if it'll go through it too. And I'm going to put what we die cut in here. I'm going to line it right up. Carefully fold that, make sure it fits. Again, the 2 bottom plates, no top plate, and we're going to try to feed that through, and that does work for me. So that is the 3D on the top dial, and I have -2 on the bottom dial. And as I pop that open, that is much better of an impression. I'm actually going to update my notes on that because I had -1. I'm going to change that to -2. Okay. So that one is 3D on the top dial and -2 on the bottom dial. All right. And where, I'm going to put everything away here so I don't lose it. And I have some other folders here. Yes, I brought some Spellbinders, Altenew, and the Tim Holtz Impresslits. I can't say it. Impresslits. Okay, so that's that one. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, so the next one is going to be, what do I have here? Just looking at my pile of stuff. Okay, so let's just do, let's compare to some other 3D folders here. So this is an Altenew 3D folder. It's called Cross Weaves. So let's try that one. And for this one, my notes say for Altenew, it's the same setting. It's 3D, actually, it's 3D. Lego. It's 3D, but then my notes say for Altenew, we go to +1. So 3D +1, and we're going to use all of our plates. So this is not as thick as the Gina K one is. So 3D +1 and all the plates. So we have our base, we have our embossing folder, and you always want to try to put the folded side in. And it says all the plates in my notes. Let's see if that still works. Give it a little shove. There it goes. This looks really cool on foil card, by the way. And you can see that one embossed perfectly. So for Altenew 3D plates, it's the 3D setting on the top, and then I +1 on the bottom. And again, if you're using thicker cardstock, you won't need that +1. You would dial it back. So that's the Altenew. Going to keep going here. I'm going to do a regular Spellbinders embossing folder and a 3D Spellbinders embossing folder. How you know the difference is they will put E3D on the 3D ones. So these are thicker than their regular ones, okay? So we're going to do the regular one first. To do the regular embossing folder, my notes say 3D and 0. That one foot keeps sticking. Okay, so 3D on the top dial, 0. So we're going to line that back up to 0. And to use all my plates, this is for a regular Spellbinders embossing folder, not a 3D one. So we have the magnetic platform with the cutting plate. We have our paper inside our folder, and then we are going to use all of the plates. So in this one, right, yeah, we're going to give it a little bit of a shove. Come on, buddy. All right, so there we go. Why do I not have it in straight? Okay, so it's not going through. I might have to loosen this a little bit. I might have to go to +1. +1 is going to open it a smidgen. So let's open it up to +1 and see what that gets us. It opens it a little bit. There we go. That feeds it through better. I must have had thicker or thinner paper in there when I did it before. Okay, so that was 3D and Again, let me see here. 3D and +1 for a regular 2D embossing folder and all the plates. I didn't take out the top plate. And results are pretty good. Okay, and this is like little splats. This is SES035 if you're shopping for this. Okay, so that's that one. So that's the regular embossing folder. Now let's do a Spellbinders 3D embossing folder. Now this one is the only one I went to 2D. So we're going to go to 2D. And I had to go to -5 and no top plate. And I think it's because it's thick, but not thick enough to go in 3D, but thick enough to go in 2D. Now this is the brand new Crackle Paint one, which was the 3D just released. So this one is E3D156 is the number on it. So this is a Spellbinders 3D embossing folder, Crackle Paint. Okay, and we're going to use the bottom plates. And it's on 2D and -5, and it says no top plate. (2D, -5, no top plate for the 3D Spellbinders plates. There we go. That one looks pretty good. Looks like stucco. Okay, that's that one. And then the last one is the one I had the most hard time with, and I think it's because it's so thick. And they don't make this one anymore, but I know they make others. This is the Tim Holtz 3D Impresslits. In fact, let me grab a regular 3D one. I didn't do a regular 3D one. Okay, so here's a regular 3D texture fades. Tim Holtz. Sizzix makes these. Let's see if I can get this one to work. I don't have any notes for this one. We'll come back to the Impresslit. So on this one, we're probably going to end up going to 3D because this is really thick. And so we're going to go back to the top being 3D. And I'm going to start with this at 0 with no top plate. So let's try this. Oh, that might be it right there. That might be not. Let me see here. So what I do when I take my notes is I take a little peek and I try to hold my paper. Yeah, that's not enough of an impression. See, it didn't all come through. So I'm going to run this through again, but I'm going to increase the bottom one. So I'm going to go to 3D and I'm going to go -1. So I always go one at a time. And this is how you find out if it works or not. So no top plate, 3D -1. That feels a little bit tighter, but I think we're probably going to have to keep going. So a little bit more of the impression is coming through. I'm going to go down one more. Going to go to 3D -2. Again, no top plate. Getting a little bit more resistance. And I think we still need some more. I'm missing some of the finer details up here. So 3D -3. We're going to try that. One thing I also found is if you angle these so that the corner goes in first, it makes it a little easier. If your machine is sliding a little bit, put that at a little bit of an angle. Just make sure there's nothing hanging off the edge there. And that sometimes makes it easier to grip. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to try one more. Now, here's the problem I'm getting is because I'm reusing this paper, it's starting to rip a little bit, but I do want to try to get a little bit more detail in this area here. So I'm going to go one more, but I do have to be careful because I'm running this paper kind of thin now because I've run it through so many times. Okay, this is 3D -4. And that's just because I've run it through, what, 5 times now? Oh, let me put this one at an angle. I think that one's probably the best one. I can feel the resistance in that one. Yes, we got definitely more definition there. 3D -4 gives us all of our little lines and our cogs and gears and things like that. This one is the Tim Holtz Texture Fades. What's this one called? Mechanics. So that's that one. Okay, so 3D, I'm going to write that down on my little cheat sheet here. And we said 3D and -4, no top plate for that. Okay, so then the last one I need to show you guys is the 3D Impresslits, which, like I said, was the one I had the biggest problem with. And I think because we're trying to emboss and die cut at the same time, it's trying to do 2 things at once. It can be a little difficult. So to do this one, oh, it's my last piece of paper too. I'm going to cut this in half. Okay, so that way if this doesn't work, we can come back. And I know they don't make this butterfly anymore. It was retired. I'm sorry. Okay, so for this one, it says 3D, -3 or -4, no top plate. Well, we're already on 3D and -4, so we're just going to leave it there. So we're going to put this, and again, I'm going to put this at a little bit of an angle before I push it through. All right, so this might be a little too tight with the -4. I'm going to back it down to -3. So that's too tight. We're going to go back up to -3. Again, putting this at a little bit of an angle. There we go. So magnetic platform, 3D on the top gauge, -3 on the bottom gauge, no top plate. Did it work? Ooh, it did work. Did it cut through? It didn't cut through all the way. And I think that's probably why my notes say -4. Yeah, it didn't cut through. So we're going to try this again on -4. And this is my last piece of paper. If this doesn't work, we're going to have to cut more paper. Oh, there we go. -4. Just turning it at a different angle. See if that worked for us. And again, no top plate. Ooh, I think that one worked. That definitely cut through better. One little spot there that I can just snip with scissors. I don't want to rip that. There we go. So that's 3D -4. All right, so those are my little tips and tricks. I'm going to post these for you guys in the Foiling Snobs Club. Make sure you join us on Facebook, the Foiling Snobs Club. I will type it up and post it with the folders that I used and the plates that I used. So hopefully that will help you on your embossing folders, but also if you're doing any kind of embossing folders with die cutting, hopefully this will help you. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. If you're interested in any of these products, please go search GinaK.com. I will have the link down below. Also, I have a link for scrapbook.com. Like I said, I know it's sold out right now, but she has ordered some more. It really is a versatile machine if you are looking for a new die cutting machine. I have a video I'll link at the end of this, which is the unboxing when I first got this, and I showed how to use the glimmer machine with it. And yeah, hopefully this helps you guys out. If you have any questions, post them down below. Don't forget the thumbs up and subscribe. Join us over at Foiling Snobs Club. But I will give you guys my little cheat sheet here. If you want to pause and screenshot this. Regular embossing folder is 3D and 0 and all the plates. Spellbinders 3D embossing folder is 2D, -5, no top plate. Altenew 3D is 3D +1 and all the plates. Gina K 3D is 3D -2, no top plates. 3D Impresslits with the die is 3D -3 or -4 with no top plate. The Thinlit was on die cut setting 0 and all the plates. And then the Tim Holtz 3D Texture Fades was 3D -4, no top plate. And don't forget to put your folders at an angle if they're giving you a little bit of a difficulty, if you can. I know not all of them you can, but if you can put them at a little bit of an angle, that might help you. So you can screenshot this, but I will also post it on Foiling Snobs Club in Facebook. So if you're not a member, come on over and join us. We don't just do foiling, we do all kinds of crafting. All right, thanks guys. Have a wonderful Sunday, and I will catch you on my next video. Bye-bye.